Morning, everybody. This is USS Princeton 2004 here. It is January 30th, and the time is 8:40 in the morning. I should have looked up the business hours of the Home Depots here in my area, and I found out that they open, well, the ones that I looked at online, they open at 6 in the morning. So I wish I had gone earlier so that I would have more time just to get all the hardware that I need and to get it mounted, to get my low profile camera mount that I bought on eBay. So I'm going to one of the Home Depots right now to buy some screws and nuts, or some bolts and nuts. I'm hoping they have the right size and the right width. The hole on the low profile camera mount that I had is pretty small, so I brought the low profile mount with me, as well as the switch cover that I had drilled holes in. I used a Dremel to drill the holes. I've had the Dremels ever since they first came out, and a Dremel is really useful, especially in the remote controlled vehicle business, or you could even use it for anything really. It's always good to have a Dremel. There's always something that you can find a use for. It's got a lot of accessories, as well as a lot of attachments. And there's a sheriff parked right to the left of the road there. I'm guessing to catch people who are speeding. But the Dremel that I purchased from Amazon.com, and it was somewhere between $150 and $200, so it's one of the higher end models. One thing that I noticed in the newer model is that it overheats more than the older model that I had. But it's a bigger Dremel, slightly bigger, well, a little bigger, and I don't know what makes it produce more heat. One of the ways for me to dissipate some of that heat is to get an ice pack or get cubes of ice and put it in a Ziploc bag, and when the Dremel gets too hot, I turn it off and place the Dremel on top of the bag of ice to let it cool off a little bit, and that does the job pretty well. So when you're using one of those higher power Dremels, just got to take into account that it heats up, and sometimes to the point where you can't really hold it too long. There's actually a closer Home Depot that was shown on the internet when I was searching for stores that are near my location, but I've never been to that one. It was in North Point. The one that I'm familiar with is the one that's across from the New Hope Commons shopping center. While I'm there, I'm actually going to look at some pliers. I already have a set of pliers. I have vice grips and pliers, but if I see another pliers tool for a fair price, I'm going to go ahead and buy another one. But like I said, I already have one. And what I use that for is to tighten the knob that mounts the GoPro attachments. And it's got a bolt on one end that's recessed into the attachment itself. They sell accessories that actually fits into the shape of the knob. It's these little plastic pieces, but they appear to be too short, and there's no leverage that I could tell from turning the knob as tight as I could. And also the angle, sometimes if you're tightening the knob, the camera gets in the way, so you can't really tighten it like you want to. And to me, the pliers is the best solution for that. Right now, when I have tightened the knob on the GoPro attachments, it had sort of scarred the knob itself because it's made out of plastic. It scratched the knob, but you know that's just the part that gets used anyway, so it doesn't get seen when you're taking videos, so it doesn't matter if it gets scratched up a little bit or have some little grooves that are made from the tools that I'm using. especially if you're doing activities that have high impact, such as mountain biking or doing some stunts on your BMX. And for me, what I'm doing is mounting the Hero 3 Black Edition onto the roof of a 1/10 scale Traxxas Slash. And the terrain that I'm going to be running it in has several jumps, which is actually an RC racetrack that we built several years ago. I've been running RCs ever since I was a really young kid. I started off, my very first RC was an Audi Quattro car that I had when I was in the Philippines, and my father bought that for me. It was very expensive at the time, and it ran off of some batteries that aren't the battery packs that are found in some RC cars today. So the batteries that I had weren't rechargeable, and I would constantly have to buy batteries, and it got quite expensive. To me, I was considered, in my opinion, I think I was somewhat spoiled when I was a younger kid. My father would buy me a lot of stuff that some other kids couldn't afford. And this was when I was in my single digit age, and I wasn't even in my teens yet, and I was already playing with remote controlled vehicles. So I grew up playing with these RC cars and trucks, and eventually I had purchased the what people call the hobby grade type of remote control vehicles, because there are some that are, you know, of lesser grade than the hobby grade, and you could buy them at your Walmart or Radio Shack or Target. These are just your very basic standard remote control vehicles. I think you could buy them at Toys R Us as well, and they're more geared towards just kids that are starting out. But hobby grade RCs are more for teenagers that have that are inclined to be able to assemble and disassemble these remote controlled cars. There are lots of little bolts and screws and nuts, and you'd also have to know different motor numbers of turns on motors. So the motor turns, and you'd also have to know sometimes to program the ESCs, which are the electronic speed controllers. And nowadays you'd also have to know how to charge, discharge, and balance LiPo batteries. So for the higher grade RCs, you get involved in it more so than just your basic RCs that you could find at Toys R Us, Walmart, or Target, or stores like that. I have a son that's 6 years old right now. He was born back in 2006 in the Philippines. At the time I was spending I spent 3 months there back in 2005, or yes, sometime in 2005 or 2006 I spent 3 months there. But I didn't get to see my son get his birth. I didn't see him getting born. So I missed that part of his life. But I went back there back in 2008 to 2010, and I was able to see him. He has grown up quite a bit, and I actually gave him as a present a box stock Tamiya Cloudbuster. It was already fully assembled. I gave him the remote and the batteries for it, and it ran. If he knew how to work these RCs, he would have been able to play with it. But I don't know if the family members where he took the RCs back in Tarlac knew how to run these RCs. I gave him all the batteries, but I didn't have the luxury to give him the chargers at the time. I only had one set of chargers, and I was using that. So hopefully he was able to run that Tamiya Cloudbuster. It was in mint condition. It had all the decals on the body. It also had the really nice yellow paint designed for RC bodies, hard bodies such as that one that comes with the Tamiya Cloudbuster. And it had some black stripes on it. That Tamiya Cloudbuster is actually a better RC than what I had when I was his age. When I was in the Philippines, like I was mentioning earlier, I got the Audi Quattro car, but I would have rather preferred the Tamiya Cloudbuster, because I think the Audi Quattro car is not the hobby grade quality that the Tamiya Cloudbuster is. So he actually got a better RC than I did when I was his age. But I'm here at the Home Depot now. This is USS Princeton 2004 signing out.